We're getting closer and closer to the release date of the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel, and with the title of the sequel being released today, which is called Star Wars Jedi Survivor, now is a better time than ever to take a step back and look at what we know about the upcoming sequel. So in today's video, we're going through how we found out about the game's new title, when we'll get to see the first trailer for the game, what you'll need to play it, and when that release date is. All of that and more in today's video. So without messing about, the title of the game was released by gaming insider Jeff Grubbs. He's been dropping a lot of tidbits here and there about the game's sequel, but this was definitely the most concrete thing he said so far. In a previous podcast, he said that he knew the title of the game, but never said it, and that was until somebody correctly guessed it on Twitter, to which then he confirmed it. I've mentioned in the previous video, Jeff Grubbs is really reliable for this sort of stuff. There are Reddit posts listing all the things that he got right and how super reliable he is. So whilst it's not confirmed, it is most likely going to be the title for the new sequel. Next up was more news that Jeff Grubbs released earlier this year, which was the requirements needed to play this sequel. And unfortunately, it's bad news for a lot of people watching this video. You will not be able to play this game if you're running a PS4 or an Xbox One. It looks like this game is going to be next gen only, so that's PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC. And whether or not this game comes out at the same time on all platforms is also quite dubious. For example, the Stadia version didn't come out until a year after the initial release, and then a few months after that we got the next gen release. But the fact that this game is locked to next gen only is going to be a big problem for some people. The biggest issue being related to limited stock of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, with the problem still being around 6 months after those consoles had been released. And it looks like that issue is not going to go away anytime soon, even when this game comes out in 2023. And this problem is likely only going to get worse, considering that the KOTOR remake, which is just around the corner, might also be locked to next gen as well. Especially that this game is going to be a PS5 exclusive for a couple of months before it comes out on other platforms. But when are we finally going to see some trailers for this game? The sequel has been rumored to be in development for years now, and EA only officially acknowledged it earlier this year. Well, the good news is it's probably sooner than you think. As of recording this video, there were two separate game insiders that had two very opposing opinions on when we'd get this first look. Reputable EA leaker Tom Henderson noted that a May 4th reveal was very likely, whilst the other gamer insider, Jeff Grubbs, who we mentioned earlier, stated we would not see it on May 4th, but actually at Star Wars Celebrations instead. Either way, we were going to see something on May 2022. Well, we're in May now, so it should be in a matter of weeks until we finally get to see that first trailer. Whether or not that first trailer is actually going to show any gameplay at all is another question altogether. Unfortunately, we don't have answers to that, and if you're asking my opinion, I just think it's going to be a reveal trailer, so don't get your hopes up too much. The reason I believe that elegantly brings us into our next topic of when is the release date. There has been opposing views between numerous game insiders on this. Notable Star Wars leaker Bespin Bulletin suggested that the installment would coincide with the Season 3 Mandalorian release, which happens to be in late 2022. And that would make sense because the previous game was released alongside a flagship Star Wars show, with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order being released very closely to Rise of Skywalker in 2009. EA leaker Tom Henderson also supported that notion, believing a fourth quarter release is on the books, but Jeff Grubbs thinks otherwise. Whilst he wasn't sure if the game would come out in 2022, he is now most certain we'll get to see the game in the first quarter of 2023, stating that Respawn Games was trying to aim for a Christmas 2022 release, but now believes the company is making delays and pushing the release a quarter later. All of these pieces of information do kind of fit together in some way, especially with job positions for Star Wars Jedi Survivor has drastically dwindled down in the past 6 months. Big roles like game writers and artists have now disappeared on the careers page in the last 6 months, whilst other positions for the Star Wars team have opened up there instead, most likely referring to the Star Wars FPS game that Respawn is working on. And finally, for our last question, when will Star Wars Jedi Survivor be set? This will have the most vaguest answer to all the questions today. There's a lot of ideas on the table without that much evidence. But what we do know is that the first Fallen Order game takes place 14 years before the Battle of Yavin, the attack on the first Death Star for those who are not Star Wars fans. And it's very likely that the writers are going to stay within that realm of the timeline. And judging by the new title for this sequel, it's very likely we're going to be staying within this era of high oppression. If the sequel plans to make use of the first game's supporting cast, I feel like partisan fighter Saw Gerrera might provide a limiting factor for the writers. He had a big role in the first game and then went on to fight the Empire for another 14 years. So if the game does decide to do some sort of a time skip, I doubt it'll be anything past a decade and most likely shorter. But overall, judging by the ending of the first game, it's going to be very difficult to decipher what these characters will do next. And that is pretty much everything we know about Star Wars Jedi Survivor so far. I've gone ahead and omitted any rumors or unverified news at this point. Rest assured, everything I've mentioned in this video has been verified in some capacity by game insiders. So if I have missed out anything in this video, it's likely I've omitted it because there wasn't enough supporting evidence for it. But yeah, let's wait and see for Star Wars Celebrations. I'm really excited. It's only a few weeks away. And that is where I'm going to wrap up today's video. What are you looking forward to the most with the Jedi Fallen Order sequel? Personally, I'm just so excited to see so many game companies making Star Wars games again. 2023 cannot come soon enough. But that's where I'll wrap up today's video. But besides that, guys, I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.